Hello, chat. Welcome back to. Is it my first stream of the year? I don't even remember. I do remember that there was a stream from Vacancy, but first stream from my home, I guess, in a really long time. The channel is still alive. And hi, everyone. It's going to be Arjun against Alireza today. What an uh, what an exciting match it's going to be. I do hope you're able to hear me clearly. I don't know if the games have started yet because I don't see anything on chess.com/events. Now, first of all, I made a bit of a, I did a bit of a risk today creating the stream because I mean the server should hold up. Yeah, the tournament should happen. But okay, it's always fun to take risks and uh, that's what we did here. So that's the first thing. Let's see if the game start. And secondly, where do you even see the games today, chat? Where are the games? I didn't see it on chess.com/humans. I don't see any of the games. Has the game started already? It looks like it hasn't. I see Magnus Carlsen's face out there, but I can't see Serana's video. It seems like it hasn't begun yet. Birthday stream. Uh, what birthday? Which birthday? I don't know what you're talking about. My birthday is not anytime soon. I'm going to be. I'm not going to get 1 year older this time. Are you not playing in Division 3? Unfortunately, I'm not playing because I lost in the match play against Grandmaster Demido, which is why I'm streaming here instead of being on Zoom and chess.com and playing on playing against somebody. It was kind of sad having worked so incredibly hard all night for 5 to 6 hours and then ending up with absolutely nothing because you had to win that game in order to get the prize. So it was a bit tough having worked so hard and going back like that. But nevertheless, it was fun to play. It was a lot of fun to play. And I think it was quite evenly contested, the match play. But at 3 a.m. in the night, couldn't really, I couldn't be as alert as I could have at my best, I think. And circadian rhythm is an actual thing, it's not a made up concept in case people come up with stuff like Arjun one, Mukesh one. Yes, they managed to win despite playing at 3 a.m. But only I think managed to, three of the Indians managed to win in that match play on that day. Hey Anand, yes, indeed, long time no see. And yes, here we are. So this was the story of my exit from here. I was playing the match play. It was a two-game match. It was 10+2. My opponent started with knight f3, d5, d4, knight f6, c4. I accepted the queen's gambit because how long do you keep declining? Somebody has to accept it. And e3, e6, bishop c4, c5, short castle, a6. Anshika, think of it this way: the person, if we had a match play on a different day, then people had to work for one more day. Whereas if it was on the same day, it comes to the same working day. So I imagine it is just so much more convenient. A6, B3 here, knight B d7 was a mistake. What I played, I mixed up, and after bishop B2, B6, B6, D5 was a very strong move and quite undeveloped. White is faster. B6 is a move which is played with the knight on D2, but with the bishop on B2, white can play D5. My opponent didn't find this though. He played with knight C3, and here I played D5, which I think is a good move. Bishop goes back, bishop B7, taking control of the D5 square, then develop everything, and a very comfortable position for black. White equal. I took, placed my knights in the center, starting with knight C5, and next the knight to D5. My opponent took control of the D3 square, not allowing my knight to come in. Rook C8, developing my rook, getting the queen out of the way. A5, bringing my bishop into the game, and also setting up this tactic, bishop A6, rook D1. And now, chat, guess what I played? Black to play. So, what are black's options here? What did I play as black? This was a interesting moment for me. This was a critical moment, and what would you play if you're black here? Oh, meanwhile, the games have kicked off. The games have kicked off, so I think we should go to that pretty soon. At least the division two games have kicked off, I guess. I don't know if the division one games have started, but yeah, division two has seemingly kicked off. Knight to a5 says empty. I think you mean knight to a4. That was one of the moves, and it's a good move because the b3 pawn is protecting the knight on c4. So if the pawn gets distracted, then we take the knight on c4. So I spent a bit of time here. I had two options. I could take the pawn on b3. I could take the pawn on a4. Now, knowing me, which pawn do you think I captured? Obviously, the pawn on b3 because I just didn't like it staying in the board. But apart from that, I reason that this knight being on d4, it's a better version if it's on b3. We win a pawn in neither case, but it's better if the knight goes to b3. Now the point is, white has this resource with e4. So he can take the bishop and then pin my knight. This is possible in either of the circumstances because if I took on a4 first and if I went here also e4 was an option. Then there's a discard attack. So I took on b3, knight takes b3, bishop it is c4, rook takes c4, rook takes e4, c4, e4 with a pin. I play the knight, rook c3. This was a very interesting move. At this point, we both had 5 minutes each. And now my opponent played knight to d4, covering the pin, allowing my knight to move. He wants to take on c3. The point is, if he took bishop takes c3, then I had knight takes c3, rook into d8, knight into b1, and it's equal material. In fact, I'm a pawn up. And after rook d7, bishop d8, this pawn gets protected. I'm better. So here I felt that I was the one having the upper hand. After rook c3, he played the knight to d4, and this was the moment where I made a blunder. I played knight to f6, thinking that if he takes on c3, pawn takes c3, knight takes e6. Here I had this intermezzo, queen to c8, attacking the knight, and even if he captures the rook, I had the pawn to c2, attacking both the rook and the queen, and then I capture the rook to the check, and I pocket the piece. So I thought white will take on c3 first, and then he'll take on e6. And here I had this queen c8, and if he doesn't do that, I'm just a pawn up. But just after making the move, it occurred to me that he can take on e6 first. And now after queen c8, knight takes f8, I can no longer play the pawn to c2, and both my rook is attacked, and he's threatening to come out with his knight, and he's a piece up. This was such an unfortunate moment. And knight f4 is a much more natural move. If I had played this, I think I wouldn't have lost this game because he takes this, and then he can play the queen to c1. He can get back this pawn. I think this is what would have happened. And it would have been equal. It would have been even Stevens. But knight f6 was this critical moment, and here I just pretty much lost. I did have a second chance. Here, queen c6 was a terrible move. I had to play the king to g7. After queen c6, it was a game. I could still resist here. Rook d5, some queen e1 check, queen e4 check. You know, try and create some kind of a counter chance. But with what I played, it was game over. So this was the story of why I'm not playing in Division 3 right now. Hey Nirud, hey Sai. Okay, so getting back, meanwhile, the games have started, and Arjun starts with the black pieces. So let's get down there and see how the games are going. Time control is a bit on the slow side, yeah. My opponent was Grandmaster Demido. Yeah, that's his name. He was around the same rating as me, so it was very interesting tournament, an even battle. The only uneven part was, I guess, the time zone, and maybe even that was not uneven. But the point is, regardless of what time zone my opponent is playing at, expecting people to play at 3 a.m., the match play just doesn't make sense. I think it was a bit of a the failure on chess.com's part. And yes, also Gukesh is playing against Hikaru. So these are the two super interesting matchups we are going to have. Apart from that, Magnus Carlsen is playing against Alexei Sarana, and Wesley So plays against, I don't remember. Wesley So plays against whom? Chat. He plays against Rock Momino, who defeated Jan Nepomniachtchi. Arjun's next over the board event is quite a long time away unless he uses his webcam technology and plays over the board from his home. There are just simply no tournaments for his level right now. WR Masters is happening sometime later this year, but Arjun's not part of that. Started with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, the Italian, d3, bishop c5, c3 castle, b4. Now, this is not your typical move here in this Italian game. White has a lot of other moves, castle, knight d2, h3. But the reason why white plays b4 here is to try and gain some space on the queen side. The advantage for black, he has not yet committed the direction of his bishop. So he just goes back. He says, I have not gone to b6 yet, so I can still keep it flexible, and I just go back. And next move, he comes up with d5, opening up the center, getting his pieces out. White declines politely the option to open up the center. He just goes back with his bishop. Bishop to e6. Black has completed his development. The center is well protected. And now he plays a6 just to prevent any b5 related threats and keep everything protected. Meanwhile, chat, what are your predictions? Who's going to win today? The first question is going to be first question is about, yeah, whom are you rooting for? Arjun Erigasi, Alireza Firuja. There is no option of draw here. You have to choose one. That's the fun part of knockout events. You just cannot draw. Someone has to. Someone has to get knocked out. Meanwhile, it will be a good idea to have some music as well. Yeah, maybe we should have some music. It's a calm game so far. Queen D7 played by Arjun. Alireza played Rook E1 on the previous move, and now Queen to D7. And now Bishop to B2 by Alireza. He has also completed pretty much all his development. Why Black has also completed everything. Now, if you see, there is a lot of tension in the center. There are these two bishops looking at the central pawns. At the moment, the bishop on b2 is dormant, but it has the potential to get opened up. And what Arjun is saying is, I'm not going to, have this headache of calculating all these moves. I'll just close the center with d takes e4. It's not exactly closing it, but he no longer has to worry about white taking the pawn on d5 every single move. If you see right now, white can play e takes d5 anytime and exert pressure on the e5 point. On the other hand, black has the d3 pawn if white takes e takes d5. But it is white's choice. It is under white's control. The remote control is with white. And with d takes e4, he's just taking that control away. D takes e4, d takes e4. And now the knight on c6 is black's biggest problem in this position. It is under pressure defending the e5 pawn, and it's not so easy to take it out. So it's kind of in the way of black's pieces. Why do you think Arjun performed subpar in white? I think I spoke about it in one of the earlier streams. First of all, Arjun was found a bit wanting in depth in a level like this. But the second thing was Arjun just didn't back down. He just kept. It was imagine a boxing duel, yeah. And what was happening was Arjun was getting punched, but he just didn't want to block or tie his opponent down. He just wanted to try and punch back, and this led to the damage control not happening. It's a very typical thing when someone is young. They see backing down as something of a chickenish thing to do, but what works? I think it's always better to have more points. Things to be learned with experience. A4 played with the idea of b5. So white is just trying to gradually create this pressure out here. And Arjun goes knight to h5. This is exactly what I felt that he should do. The knight goes to f4. From here it eyes the d3 square, the g2 square. If white goes b5 here, attacking this pawn, then at the very least, black can just move this knight away, because whenever white takes on e5, this d2 knight hangs. The d2 knight is dependent on the f3 knight to keep it protected. So when this knight moves away, the d2 knight hangs. So knight takes h5 with the idea of knight f4. Now will Alireza play the pawn to g3 in order to protect the knight from f4 d3, or will he do something else? I think he should play the pawn to g3 at the very least to keep it protected. It's either one, but I'm sure he might have learned a lot in this tournament tying either. Yeah, absolutely. It was, I think, a much needed learning experience, and quite often you do need such kind of setbacks in order to grow stronger, because it gives you a lot of perspective. It gives you a balanced diet in your life, so to speak. It's a bit, I mean, it feels a bit sadistic to say it, but I think it's just important. Was Arjun a bit undercooked? I don't think so. I mean, he was certainly not undercooked. Undercooked for this level, maybe, but that said, he wouldn't have found another tournament of similar level. He had to go through this experience, he had to play this kind of people in this kind of setting, in this kind of atmosphere. Because the same people in a different setting, like an open tournament or Olympiad, wouldn't have been so well prepared, wouldn't know Arjun so well. G3 played by Alireza, by the way. So G3 has been played. Now, what will our boy Arjun do? He, I think, is a bit stuck. All the pieces are out developed. So the question is, how does he improve his pieces even further? How does he? The answer is he just doesn't have a way to do it. It's like the pieces are all jam packed. There are no squares for the new pieces to get in. So in such situations where there is shortage of space, you trade pieces. And bishop into b3 is one way to do this. Bishop into b3, queen to e6. This is a way to do it. Getting the bishop out of the way. The queen comes in. And the queen can also swing long. Why they're not trading the light square bishop? Well, let's just give it some time. Let's just give it some time. Meanwhile, chat, do let me know if you also want to have a look at the other games like Mukesh, Hikaru, or anything else. Is Rustam now not working with Arjun? If you can talk about it, well, I prefer not to talk about it. I prefer, keeping the other information with regards to Arjun as close to my chest as I can. Already, a lot of information about Arjun is now quite visibly known, not from us talking, but from just not from us talking, but just from Arjun's moves and actions. Let's see if there is a way to get in the Mukesh game as well. Oh wow! Look who is in the chat. Someone with a very, very, very special person. Yeah, we have the Mukesh Hikaru game out here as well. And I think Hikaru is a massive favorite to win this one. This started as a Nimzo Indian. Look at how fighting this position is. One of the special things about the Nimzo Indian, Black gives up the bishop, the pair of bishops, in exchange for better pawn structure and a bad bishop. And this is the most interesting thing about this Nimzo Indian, especially the lines with 4e3. And takes c5, bishop to d3, knight to c6, the knight comes to e2, pawn 6, e4. Now this is a very interesting question if we zoom towards it. White has this burgeoning center, a beautiful, beautiful center, and extra space on the king side. So I think this was all Mukesh's preparation. And Hikaru, we spent quite a few seconds here, 35 seconds. He played the knight to e8, possibly not the first line of stockfish. And Mukesh lashed out with h4, which also I'm not sure was the best move. The computer certainly doesn't think so. And this was the point. Hikaru can close things off with e5. If he did this earlier, then White had the option to break with f4. Whereas with the pawn on h4, if you play the same f4, then the g4 square gets weakened. So e5, h5, d6. Hikaru doesn't care about his lone pawn. He instead strengthens his center, and it's a closed center, so his king feels safe. Bishop e3, and now he comes after this weak c4 pawn. Typical idea. Mukesh makes way to defend upon on c4, takes, knight b3. Hikaru c-spawn, he wins pawn, and Mukesh has no option but to give it up. He regains the pawn, but now Hikaru, he offers trade of queen. Mukesh's attack has gotten nowhere, and this c4 pawn is a big weakness. So Mukesh is clearly better in this position. Meanwhile, getting back to Arjun, still thinking, what? Arjun, what happened to you? Why are you taking so much time? Because I think he just doesn't know what he wants to do here. How he can improve his position. So he's taking time because bishop into b3 is a very committal decision. So yeah, Arjun is having a long think. That was intended, right, Abhinav? Wasn't that intended? I think Humpy is doing. Oh, he goes after a long think. Arjun goes bishop h3 with the idea of knight f4. He spent, I think, about 5 minutes there. Yeah. How long did he spend there? He spent an enormous amount of time and made bishop h3, which makes a lot of sense also. Which also makes a lot of sense. He wanted to come knight f4. Alireza, without spending much time, he immediately goes king h4. He's ready against knight f4. So with the king on g1, he made a random move. Then this was checkmate. But with the king on h1, it's not checkmate anymore. So the knight comes back to f6 with the potential idea of knight g4, because the king on h1 was guarding the f2 pawn. So with the king moving away, he's like, job done. So come back. So imagine this knight is like a Pokemon. So he's like, knight return, and the knight gets back to the usual square. Knight to f6. The knight can go to g4 from out here, or just stay on f6. Now, what does white do here? How does white play? One idea for white is to just trade the queens. You can always do this with knight to c4. Other options to play the queen to e2 and get the rook into the game, which is what Alireza has done. He plays the queen to e2 with the idea of getting the rook to the game. Now let's see what Arjun has in mind. Queen to e2, black can black do queen d3? I would be tempted to play something like queen d3, but it's a bad move, I think, because if the queen's traded, b5 will be powerful, e5 will be vulnerable. I would so dearly love this knight to go to g6, but we kind of don't have time. Like whenever I play bishop d3, there is knight c4. So we have like a super interesting position here. Bishop g4, I like this move. Strengthening queen d3, exerting pressure on f3. I need to mention the moves before the players played it. Yeah, okay. This is the live position. Meanwhile, how is Mukesh doing? This is where we last left. Knight e2 was played. Capture, knight to f6. He gives up this pawn, and he's just simply a pawn down with no compensation at all. He's a pawn down, he's down on time. Hikaru looks set to take a lead. Hi, Shanti. I'm good. How are you? Knight c4 played by Alireza. Knight into e5 is actually a threat despite the pin, because it attacks the queen as well as bishop. And I think Arjun is under a little bit of pressure, just a little bit of pressure. It's not quite clear where Arjun could have improved here, because he's been playing all decent moves, but maybe one inaccuracy was You should have played this bishop takes b3. This was a better move. But still, a very interesting game created by Alireza. And now finally Arjun goes bishop d6. The knight has to get to g6. Now what happens if you play the pawn to b5? Here maybe we can just ignore it because of the knight b5, bishop e2, knight takes d7. There is a bishop f3 check and knight takes d7. So bishop d6 makes sense here. And once again, let's guess the move. What will white try to do here? Knight e3 is a tempting move. I like knight e3, bishop h5, knight f5. This is one way to play. But there is knight to e7, which neutralizes things. But still, I think it's a possible human move. Rook d1 looks very natural as well. Getting this queen into a pin. And here actually I'm not even sure how it was king to g2. I didn't see this coming. He goes king to g2, protecting the f3 knight. Here he wants to prepare knight e3. Okay, he's also getting rid of this bishop f3 check. He's also getting rid of this option of playing bishop f3 check in the earlier line we saw after bishop e2 knight d7. So after king d2, now knight e5 becomes a threat, and Alireza is actually playing quite fast. And Arjun can just do this. This is one option, but there is no longer a check. So now white can go b5, and if the knight moves, white can take on e5. Bishop e2, this is knight d7. So king j2. Bit of a tough situation for Arjun here. He's under pressure. He can also do the same move. He can play the queen to c8, get it out of the way. And after b5, knight e7, he can claim that there's a pin. He goes b5. Dashes out. But now white has managed to create some pressure. The knight is attacked, but he can just go knight to e3. I'm not sure how accurate the clocks are. All of China says verified shit. It's so good to have some influence. Yeah. b5, 8x, b5, 8x, b5 on the board. And now the knight goes to e3. I think Arjun will play bishop h3 check, king g1, knight takes e3. This is what I expect it to happen in the game. Not sure how Alireza will multi post. But yeah, so far in the first game, Alireza is the one who's having a bit more pressure compared to. I don't even know which song is going on. Apologies. I don't hear the music. I personally like the new format better because here I also get a chance to. I also have an actual shot at playing the champion chess tour. The previous format, we did have the Indian chess tour, but I really didn't expect chess.com to continue with the Indian chess tour because that has qualification only from India. And, I couldn't imagine why India would be a priority for chess.com. Knight a3. He went with the knight to a3. Alireza wants to take this pawn or what? Is that even a threat though? Because chat. What happens after knight takes b5? What happens after knight takes b5? What does black do? You like the old things, huh, Anshika? Yes. Rook takes b5, queen takes b5, and bishop f3 check. This is the reason why it doesn't work and queen is lost. So rook b8, now knight takes b5 doesn't work, and now Alireza is the one who is low on time. Super exciting game. We are down to the last 2 minutes. Why is Chess.com India not streaming? I don't know, yeah. To be honest, I don't know if uh, they have even have streamers anymore, because I after I started working full time with Arjun, I couldn't give the same kind of commitment to Chess.com India anymore, and I prefer streaming on my channel, because, like, for instance, if I need to go away right now, I could do it from my own channel. But if I was on Chess.com India, it becomes a professional commitment, you know. And if I'm there, then I'm there. And I don't have the same kind of flexibility anymore, that level of availability. So that was one reason why I couldn't continue with Chess.com India the way I was doing it. And it looks like Chess Assist is also retired from streaming. Yeah? So in that sense, there is literally no Indian streamer right now except Sagar, right? Is there are there any Indian streamers left anymore? Knight to G5 chat. H6. Shall we just kick this knight out? The computer paints this move in red, but we are going to see a lot of red in the coming times, because the players have such little times, and it's 15 plus 3 now. Chess.com likes increment of lower seconds, fewer seconds. They don't like long games. Queen c8 played by Arjun. He wants to prepare against h3. So he just gets the bishop to, he just vacates the square for the bishop. I don't think we have anything to worry about right now. Sahil said not streaming but making us happy. How? By making videos? Or him not streaming makes you happy? Mikasa, if you miss us, then come back to Discord. No? Kamya and Harshit working for Arjun as well. Chat, I think it's going to take a while after the chess.com chess24 bouncer for things to settle down a bit. And I don't know what is the idea of chess.com India moving forward. But I think it will take some time for things to settle down. Besides, people have become busy, you know. People have gone back to preparing chess, playing chess, and that takes up a lot of time. Discord brings drama. It's better these days. It's mostly DM between Anshika and it's pretty much a deserted server now. So there's a F4. What is happening here? Can't we just take and go knight to G6? H6, yeah, H6 first. This knight has to go to F3, and then we take and go. What? Why is this so winning for black? Why am I so stupid in chess? I don't see it, but okay, I'm not stockfish, so that's a good thing. But I don't see why this is so winning for black, because E takes F4, G takes F4, then there's a threat of E5. But Arjun's seen it. Arjun's not me, which is actually a very, very good thing in life. He goes bishop to h3 check, and the queen comes to g4 quite simply. There's a threat of queen g2, there's the threat of queen takes f4. It wins a pawn at the very least, and Alireza is so down on time. Rook G1, Queen takes F4 taken. Rook E3, now Knight to G4. Because Queen F4, there's Knight F2 checkmate. So Knight G4 looks strong here. And the Queen can go to E2. Queen can still go to E2. The game is still on. There is very little time for both the players, so there's still a lot to play for. But I really like knight takes g4. Arjun might also consider trading queens and going for a pawn up endgame. Come on, Arjun, do it for our chat. He's taking his time, which is a good thing. He's taking his time to calculate the death blow. Wow! Queen sacrifice. Chat, did you see that? Queen e2, queen takes e4. The point is, if the queen takes, then there's knight f2 checkmate. So Alireza is down by 2 pawns. He's literally bleeding on the board here. And Arjun just brings more of his pieces. Alireza still can't take queen e4 because of knight f2 checkmate, but now bishop into e4 is an actual threat. Arjun can just retreat the queen. He can just play queen c6. There is a 3-second increment. He goes for it. Queen takes c6. Rook e8 is the next threat. Knight is coming to h4. And Alireza, who has not been playing chess for such a long time, is feeling the heat. And he has resigned after rook c8. So Arjun is up by 1-0. Arjun OP chat. I know. It's a bit early to get too excited, but a score of 1-0 with 2 whites coming up. Wow. Awesome stuff. This is such a beautiful way to start the match. Meanwhile, Gukesh is completely lost against Hikaru. So this one's going to be too tough. Even for Gukesh, this is the live question. He's down by a pawn, but the problem is, these passers are just killing. Arjun winning against Alireza is a bit of a special thing because Alireza has always had the edge against Arjun in the past. From the childhood days, from the days when they were playing Bullet, Alireza has always had a bit of a psychological edge against Arjun. I remember they both played against each other in the last round of the World Under 16 Olympiad. Arjun with the white pieces, and back then he was quite intimidated by Alireza. But it seems like no more, and times are changing. But it's still a 4-game match, so it's a long match, and yeah, there we go. Gukesh has resigned, so it's 1-0 for Arjun, and it's 1-0 for Hikaru as well. And in the other 2 matches between Magnus against Sarana, let's have a look at the Magnus Sarana. Isn't it a bit dull without the music? Maybe we should have the music on, but with less volume. What do you think about that? Meanwhile, in the Division 2, where also we have some Indians playing, Caruana has defeated Dityan Ghosh in their first game. The second game is going on. Raunak Sadhwani lost against Yu Yangi. The second game is going on. And how's the Prag doing? Prag good. Prag is playing against Amin Tabatabai. He's playing in Division 3. So Raunak is playing in Division 2. Prag is playing Division Three, he drew the first game against Amin Tawataba. We think I can understand. Yeah, Caruana is playing against Deeptan in Division 2 because Caruana lost against Sarana, which somehow Danny Rench found it super funny. Kept repeating Caruana Sarana, Caruana Sarana. This is Raunak's game, which is going on right now. He's, I guess, a bit better with the black pieces because he simply has an extra pawn. Yeah, Raunak and Deepti are in position. Anshika knows so much. Wow. I'm just amazed at how much she knows. Does the winner of Division 2 get anything other than money, like getting a place in the next Division 1? Please don't ask me about the format. I just don't understand it at all. Uh, Before this match, I asked Arjun if he understood the format. He said, yeah, it's same as the Bullet Championship. I was like, okay, good, thanks. I don't have to read up on it. So Arjun knows it better. I have no clue what the format, and I'm glad to remain that way. Ignorance is bliss. And hope is a good thing, but don't stretch it too much. It's good to have the old Discord people back here. Meanwhile, chat another look. What a beautiful finish it. Yeah, F4 is where things went wrong for Alireza. F6, knight F3 takes. Bishop H3 check. King H1. Queen to G4 with the idea of Queen G2 and Bishop F4. Rook G1 prevents it. Queen takes F4. Rook E1 and now Knight to G4. Queen E2. And here comes this sweet move. Queen takes E4. Bishop C1. Now knight comes into the game. Bishop C2. Queen C6. C4. E8. And Alireza resigned. What a brilliant win by Arjun. I can't stop gushing over. Oh, I think Anshika's quite relaxed. Hey, I've been the most active on Discord this year than I think all of the previous years. Okay, I think I've been more active on Discord this year than 2022. Okay, what's going on here? Raunak is winning, so he's striking back, and this is how he won the spawn. Okay, but why did White give up the spawn? Because I think he just missed his idea of C6 and D5. He thought Bishop D4 was coming here. He just missed it, and now he's just down a pawn. He's down on time as well. Prague, on the other hand, has a good position here. So it was a good hole in Enzo in game. And I like Prague's position. Oh, yeah, I forgot that we have to go back here. Annually refresh. New game won't just appear. But I think they're going to have a bit of a break. So we can chill and look at some of the other games. Are these live on leeches as well? Because it would be so much easier to spectate the games on leeches. Leeches. Yeah, it looks like it's live on leeches also. Should we just watch it on Leech's chat? You think? What happened to your hand, Anshika? What happened? Is it as fast on Leeches? Let's have a look. Chat, why do you prefer that we watch the games? Leeches or Chess Doctor? Whatever chat says is my command. Your wish is my command. Uh, but it's a bit weird, I think. This, I mean, I see the games, but I don't see uh, game two. That is game two on Leeches. I also don't see Division two and stuff like. So I think it's better on Leeches. No, the server is not active. I went there and it's only Anshika there. And that too, she comes only when I come. So is this going to be a 4 hour stream? I'm not sure yet. I don't think so. Maybe 2 hours. After some point, I'll get tired. I'm getting older each day. And I don't think I'll be able to stay on stream for 4 hours. Yeah, so we'll continue watching the game on chess.com, the best site in the world right now when it's active. And it's about as active as my Discord server. Yeah. and, uh, to- to- Which other game do you want to watch? Groundx game is certainly a game to watch out for. He's completely winning here. He has like a 10-minute website, sorry, 10-minute advantage on the clock. And yeah, I mean, apart from the Arjun game, because Arjun, there's a bit of a break going on. So apart from Arjun, Bhupesh is playing. We had a bit of a look at Bhupesh's games. Then there is Ron and Prabhu who are also playing. Why so low energy? Because it's quite late in the night. And yeah, it is quite late in the night. And uh, I haven't been able to sleep well since coming back from Mackenzie. I'm still quite jet lagged, to be honest. Chat, meanwhile, which format do you prefer? The old one or the new one? We have exactly 69 votes, so I'm going to end poll. I think we have a pretty clear picture. 83% for Arjun and 17% for Alireza. My neck is good. It's good so far. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, which I was not able to do for a few days. Someone from behind called Sharad Srinath. I couldn't do this. And have a look. It feels so good to get back my neck mobility, but I do hope to keep it that way. It can very easily get bad. Whole format is fun. Don't even understand the new. That's true. We don't understand, but maybe we need to give it some time. Yeah. I had some kind of a spasm on my neck. Whole of whole of January, I had a neck pain. I'm not referring to Arjun as being pain in the neck, but actual neck pain. Old format, old commentary. I need everything back. When you say old commentary, you mean the one with Soumya and Harshit? Eh, it's a safe bet. People always fall sick. What is your rating, Shanti? And have people started going back to work on site, or are people still working from home? Now, most of the people I know are back to working on site. Meanwhile, Arjun start the second game with good old London system, following continuing to follow my courses. He doesn't go for the Catalan, but goes for the London system. Fair enough. Fair enough. This is the game between Taba against Prague. I really like Prague's position. And this is where we are getting all the tuck tuck sounds from. I'm going to mute this tab as well. And let's go back and keep the. What? We were going for the Mukesh Nakamura game, but this just quickly stole my eye. But it's also hardly a new line from Roth. He already played this against Vishy Anand in the European Club Cup last November. And I think Wesley So knows what he has to do here. The first game was a draw between them. Carlson defeated Sarana and he will win this matchup, I think. Arjun, on the other hand, has got a modest opening. So here we have Hikaru Putu, which has also started well for Mukesh. So we have Arjun, Mukesh, Raunak, Prag. Nihal is missing because he went to play the Bundesliga. Yeah, Sahil will be back. Sahil will be happy for that. So if you're back to office, isn't like 10:30 a bit late in the night? Probably it's not late to watch YouTube, which is probably what I would also be doing at this time. But to go out there with full energy and then to sleep by about 1 o'clock or so, that might not be the most. That might not be the easiest, which is why I'm in low power mode on to E5. That is late for me. Okay, let's get back to guessing Arjun's chat. He played it. He played this one quite fast. Now Alireza's move is going to be E4. It's got to be E4, right? Is there even any other move worth considering here? I like Alireza's position, by the way. He's gotten a really nice position, double fianchetto, and his position is not cramped. So he can go pawn to E4. The knight has to move back, and then he can get his pawn to D5. This is one way to continue for Alireza. He takes E takes D4. I don't like this move because it I think kind of makes things easier for white to keep things solid. And Arjun will recapture with the E pawn, I think. This is my guess. Someone in the chat can keep count of how many I'm guessing right. You don't have to keep track of how many I'm guessing wrong because no one ever keeps track of those things. But uh, yeah, you can remember what I'm doing right. The only thing it should. Okay, he takes back with the C pawn. So we are still not on the scoreboard yet. A5 played by Alireza. Rook C1. I was going to guess this, but Arjun beat me to it. I like Arjun's move of Rook C1, although it weakens the B4 square. So Alireza is moving towards that, getting the knight onto the outpost. Now we can lay the queen to. Queen B3 is one more that I can think of. There is the option to meet knight B4 with something else. Or we can maybe do some knight fd2 and bishop f3. Also knight e1 and knight d3. Then internet age. But then I'm an old man. So knight d5 with the idea of knight to d4. Knight e1, knight d2. These are some of the moves that comes to my mind. And apart from that, queen b. Let's see what Arjun goes for. Oh, Gukesh is doing what he's doing best. Gukesh is the one with the black pieces, and he's the one. What? There's some tactics in Arjun's game. You mean in Gukesh's game, right? This was the position, and here it looks like there was e4. Okay. I didn't see this one coming. Bishop d6, c takes d6, knight takes d6. Arjun goes for it. Queen b8, knight takes e8, queen e8. But I'm not really sure if this is such a great thing for white. But that said, it does feel like Alireza has missed this. It does feel so. And although 2 pawns is a lot of compensation for the two minor pieces, and now bishop to b5 with the idea of just putting the bishop on an outpost, and queen b3 is coming up next. But black is okay because black does have a lot of activity as well. Black also gets a lot of activity in return. So there's queen e7. That's one. That's one way of going. He can do the same with queen d8 though, covering the c7 square, and doesn't necessarily feel bad for black at all. Apologies for that. Fine tuning my mic. By the way, is my voice completely clear, or is there any kind of audio disturbance? Alireza plays the rook to d8, which the computer doesn't like, but I think it makes a lot of sense. Um, there is the yeah, it it overprotects the d7 knight, so it's completely well protected. And uh, apart apart from that, what else is going on? Hard to think when. But yeah, e4 is good. So rook e1 and e4 makes a lot of sense. Rook e1 is a good place to start with, I think. So that's possibility. In fact, I don't really see any other move apart from rook e1. Queen b3 is always a move that Arjun can make. He goes for it. So that's finally one correct guess. Queen b3 with the idea of keeping an eye on this d5 knight. If the knight moves, then we have rook c7. And rook e1 and e4 is also uh, an option. Yeah, a lot of people coming back from exile. Alireza coming back from exile to play chess. Me coming back, my channel coming back from exile. I wonder when the Discord server will come back from its exile. Yeah, Arjun does lead with 1 out of 1. Oh, wait, you wanted the guess. So I and Arjun have the same score. And yeah, it is 1 out of 1. Shika, you're the best mod sometimes. When will the streamer come back from exile? I don't know. I don't know that. Rook e1 and e4 chat. Will Arjun play Rook e1 here? The more time I spend here, the less I get swayed by the engine's evaluation, and the more I'm starting to like White's position. So Rook f1 is a move that I really want to make as White here, because right now the d5 knight is the one piece which is preventing the White Rook from coming to c7. So if we can get this knight out from d5 with something like e4, then this rook is coming on to c7. Also, I cannot help but notice that Alireza was already struggling a bit in the qualifiers. He was not at his best. There was this match between Bukesh and Alireza in the qualifier itself, where Alireza was actually worse for most part of the game. And aside from that, he's been patchy. He was certainly not happy with the way the things went in the first game of this match. And in the second game, so far, it is Arjun who is having the lead. It is Arjun who is clearly doing better. And I don't think Alireza spotted bishop at d6 before he made his move. So this was also an unexpected moment for Alireza, and he, who has been playing so fast until this moment, is taking a lot of time to try and get things back. Yeah, e4 is e4 is certainly dangerous. Rook e1. You don't even need bishop to d3. You want to keep this bishop on b5. It is spinning the black's pieces nicely, and now e4 is kind of coming inevitably, one way or another. One way Alireza can counter this is with the queen to e4. Queen e4 is one way of doing it. So he's not allowing white to come play e4. by just blocking it physically. You can block things in different ways. One way is to just come directly and block it physically. Queen e4 would do that. Apart from Queen e4, what else can black play here? Rook c8. Rook c8 makes sense again because you are covering this c7 square, but the problem is e4 is not the only problem in this position. Yeah, like for instance, you can play rook to c8, queen takes c8, bishop to c4. That's another way of increasing pressure here. Rook to c8, queen takes c8, bishop c4, at f6, e4, targeting the f7 pawn. And if Arjun finds it and he manages to play it, he would actually have second second win in a row, and then he would only need to draw in the next two games. E4 at first is winning. What if knight f4? I think it's not so straightforward. It's not so winning yet, is it, chat? Doesn't March 21, March 2021. What is so special about that date? Yeah, E4, there's still knight f4, but things are looking exciting. Things are really looking up for Arjun here. And he has a beautiful push. Hello, Gurkirat. Hi, what's up? What is up? Arjun has gone for E4 though. Knight F4 instantly replied by Alireza. Now, in place of E4, Rook into C8 and Knight F4 would have been better. E4, Knight F4. Should we just take this basic pawn? But then Black will reply by taking. Okay, I didn't see this coming, but yeah, there is this Knight E2 check. So Rook to C1, Rook to C1, Knight E2 check. This is one trick. Arjun takes care of it by bringing his queen in and playing the queen to E3. The knight probably goes back to E6, and it doesn't look so bad for black anymore. G5 is also another one which I don't mind for black at all. Now he has got this knight on f4, the pawn on g5. If white goes d5, then black will get the e5 square. And if you play e5, then this bishop gets opened up. So the center is kind of under some pressure. The center is it's not possible to roll that connected pawns down. It's really not possible to get it going. Yeah, I like d5 too at first, but one is it gives up the b2 pawn, and second is it gives up control of the d5 square. But maybe it's still the best of all possible moves. It's it's suddenly not so easy to play as white here. I think the last two moves of Arjun, it might not have been the best, and we can see the computer's eval suddenly declining. H4 played by him with the idea of undermining the knight on f4. The knight Does the knight go back? Can we are finding all the moves to 96 is just bad because of D5. H4 is actually a nice one. Once again, black has some serious problems to solve. Queen d8 is one way to solve it because we have to protect the g5 pawn. And rook takes c1, rook takes c1, queen d8 is also possible. You can insert rook into c1 first and then go queen d8. So both these options exist. But aside from these two moves, I don't really see anything. Let's have a quick look at what's happening in the other games. Things not looking quite up for Bookish. Two rooks on the seventh rank. This rook on g4 and knight on h5 out of the game. Raunak did manage to strike back, so that's one good result for the Indians. And here, this looks equal. Prag's game looks equal. They're both down to the last 10 seconds. Yeah, indeed. Hikaru doing what he's doing. He's one big favorite. And a Magnus Hikaru final would be something to look forward once again. It's a bit too far to think of it, but yeah, if that happens, this one's equal because rook into b6, there is bishop takes b5, and that would go towards a draw. So white tries with king e1, but the problem is that when the king comes out, the g2 pawn is lost. So I think black should just take the draw and be happy with it. He comes back king f2, rook e6. The king goes to g1, but I don't really think black is in any danger. We can just maintain his rook here. Or the bishop. Bishop to c4. The king is trying to come to this side, but Rug stops it. Rook into b6, there's bishop b5. So this is going to be a draw in some way or another. By keeping the game going, but yeah. Rook h8 check, king g5. Rook back to b8. King back to h6. Okay, they're just making moves. It'll be Pruk's second draw in the match, I think, if this ends in a draw. Does he want some rook h8, bishop e8? I don't see what white is getting. And Amin is, yeah, okay, they have had a repetition. They have had a 3-4 repetition, and that is a draw. Meanwhile, getting back to the Arjun game, black played the queen to e6 with the idea of queen g4. And h takes g5. This is the present position. Things are heating up much more in Arjun's game as well. At g5, there is queen g4 incoming. And I think Arjun will just go g3 here. Knight h, yeah, he's gone for g3. Knight h3 check, king g2. H takes g5. Or do we take with the knight? This is a critical point. Also, is knight h3 check forced? It is seemingly forced because if you take with the pawn, then we have knight g5. So Alireza has played knight h3 check, king h2. H takes g5. Now maybe can we do knight h2? Question is getting crazy complex. But black might be in deep trouble. Yeah, he's gone for h takes g5. This is the present position. I really wonder what happens after knight h2. Bishop takes e4 check. There is f3. Bishop at f3. Knight takes f3. Knight f4 check. King f2. Knight h3 check. At the very least, white can repeat. But white can also try for more with king e2. Okay, so once again, Alireza in quite a bit of trouble. Quite a bit of. Oh, I went to the analysis. So this is one direction in which the game can go. Apart from this, what other choice does Arjun? But the thing is, once you look at Knight H2, you don't really want to look at anything else. Queen E3 is another move, but this might just allow this reputation. Arjun also has to watch out for the clock, though. Yeah, the clock. He goes for Knight H2. He goes for Knight H2, Bishop E4 check taken. F3 is, I think, he can also take Rook E4, so it's still not the only move. F3 is actually quite scary looking because you have to consider all these. Oh, Knight F4 check, there's Queen takes F. This Queen can be taken with a Knight. So, but still, Arjun has to take care of all these things. It would be a brave move if he goes for F3, but yeah. Rook E4, on the other hand, is a safe move because you are a pawn up, you are attacking this D7 knight and the G5 pawn. Black can defend it, but you're a pawn up. You're a pawn up, the D4 pawn doesn't look great. He has gone for Rook E4 check and King H3. Very understandable, practical decision by Arjun, but this doesn't give as big an advantage. And now Black can take this pawn on D4 as well, because after Queen takes G5, these two pawns are also potential targets. Black cannot take it instantly because of the D7 knight hanging, but Black can start with Knight C5, and still some problems to solve for Black at Knight G. So it's still not game over. Still not game over. Then I'm only watching a stream and watching the code on stream and telling the news on 720 TV. Yeah, that's how everyone should watch. Okay, almost everyone. Meanwhile, has Hikaru won his game? Not yet, but he's right up there. Not sure if there's going to be an Armageddon in. No, it's also a four-game match in Division 2. So Raunak's next game has started, but he seems to be on the better side of. He seems to be on the worst side of this. He certainly was. And in Division 2, sorry, Division 3, which I was playing, I think that might be a tie break now. Where Vincent is also playing. That's another game. Yeah, I think there's going to be an Armageddon in Drugs match. Yeah, Dikta and Ghosh. Oh, wait. This exact thing happened. This exact thing happened, but Arjun just too low on time. Just doesn't feel good. He's way too low on time, and that's. But Knight G4 is not a difficult move to make here. Yeah, he will play Knight G4. That's another right guess. Vedith, Vedith did not qualify to the tournament. He also lost in the match play. He lost against Amin Tabatabai, who's playing against Prag right now. It's a very weird system. Knight e6 makes sense defending the G7 bishop. So we got this whole sequence right. I think Arjun should play the queen to f5 here because queen takes b2. We want so bishop d3 or bishop c4 is even strong. Yeah, queen f5 played by Arjun, and now Alireza can defend with queen c4. This neutralizes Arjun's advantage, but Arjun has no risk, so he's playing risk free. He's leading 1-0, and he's also dominating the second game. Someone explain the format. I need chat GPT in the format. Sorry, in the chat. There's also this flashy move with Queen E4. It's still not so straightforward for black to defend this. It's far from straightforward. And this he goes Queen D1 with threats of Queen H1. I think Arjun. There's also Knight D4. But I think Arjun can just go King G2 here. And if Knight D4, Queen C8 check, King H7. But then how do we defend the F3 point? Just Knight E3, I think. Chat, I think Arjun is going to go 2-0 up. Why are they making things more confusing and stopping more people to get witches? I think they reckon, oh, Bishop C4 played by Arjun and the computer loves it. It's a super strong move and black is under massive pressure. Yes, Janvi. Here it's a 4 game match, 15 plus 3. And this is all I know. I think they're counting on the fact that people are mostly interested in chess and there are all these super strong players playing. Super strong and super well known people. And they're counting on just that attracting the numbers, which is not a bad guess, which is turning out to be the case. People are interested for sure. Okay, chat, is Arjun going to go 2-0 up here? Is it going to happen? And I do feel compelled to point out Arjun played the London system. He didn't move the B2 pawn at all through the game. And this has been the secret of his success as far as this game is concerned. Knight H2. Yeah, time is the factor, but time has evened out now. Queen C6 attacking both the C4 bishop and the A4 pawn. Arjun, you have my blessing to play B3. Go for it. Don't worry. I'll make an exception this time. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. No, I think Alireza is under some serious pressure, chat, because for white, bishop at e6 is one of the simplest moves to liquidate and go into a better endgame. And it's right in front of Arjun. Black cannot prevent this so easily. Black is stuck. There is no counterplay here for black. And he's under some serious stress here. So this is the reason why it's pretty much out there, He's pretty much got it. He goes knight to d8. This is a depressing move to make. Now Arjun will bring his knight to f3, I think. Okay, he places the bishop on d5 first, gets rid of any queen h1 check related stuff. And the knight can either go to g4 or f3. The queen can go to d7 next, and the knight will get into the game. Queen d6. Can we go knight f3 here or knight g4? Arjun will certainly touch his knight though. He likes to improve his pieces. Yeah, knight to g4. And now this knight can go to e3 potentially. The knight can go to f5. Arjun has beautiful sense of lacing his pieces. The king goes to g2, safe square. The queen will potentially come to e4. Yes, go for it. The center. And next, this knight will try to get to f5. Not so easy to make it happen. With queen c5, Alireza is trying to attack the pawn on f2, not allowing the knight to move. Queen f3 with the idea of knight to h6. And now king e7. Can we do some knight h6 here? But bishop f2 might just complicate things. So still some problems to solve. He plays bishop to c4, queen to c6. He can even take and play knight to h6 now. But he comes back bishop d5, understandable. You don't want to. Yeah, knight h6, bishop f2, knight takes f7. Go for it. Open up the king. Too many good options for Arjun here. Bishop to d4. Now there is some serious options, but so less time. And somehow black's position is solid. The king goes to c7, I guess. No, they repeat once. And queen g4 check doesn't look good because after king e7, what? Queen e4 check will be a third time repetition. So he goes queen h4 check. Now he comes queen e4 check to avoid the third time repetition, and he has to get knight e5 check in. Knight takes d8. Yes, yes, yes. Knight takes d8, and it's game over. He's managed to. He's gone 2-0 up. Wow, this was a critical moment, and Arjun didn't want to move his queen away and play something like this because of the possibility of a perpetual check here. Although king g4 saves it, and instead he goes queen g4 check, king e7, queen h4 check, bishop f6, and now queen e4 check, king d7, queen f5 check, and Alireza had to play the king to c7 because queen f6 does queen d5 check. Instead, Alireza played king e7, trying to stay close to the bishop, but he really had to stay close to his enemy and keep his friends close. After knight d8, white is just winning the piece on f6. Game over there. Is Arjun just going to close this in 3 games? That would be so awesome. So far, he's just been in complete dominance. Mukesh lost the second game, so Hikaru is also 2-0 up, like Arjun. And I think the Armageddon of Prague hasn't yet begun. Indian is out, Banana half. Don't see the Prague's game yet. Yeah, just a draw is enough. But Chad, what a dominant performance this has been. Okay. Beating Alireza 2-0. This is Raunak's game right now. Raunak is up by a piece, but this thing is a bit exposed. Arjun knows long streams are tiring for weeks. But okay, I was only going to stream 2 games anyway. I wasn't really planning to stay here for the whole stretch. As I told you in one of the earlier streams, it's going to be streams of this duration only, 1.5 to 2 hours, just blowing some steam off on stream. And so far, it's going so good though that I feel I'm not so sure about stopping it after 2 games, seeing how good it's going for. But no, I think Alireza is simply not in shape. He hasn't played tournaments in a really long time, and that hurts you. You need to play to stay in shape. You can't just even for a super genius, you can't just turn up and be at the same level. You have to constantly play to stay in shape. That said, Ali Reza will try to roar back into the match. He's going to try to play at his as best as he possibly can. And okay, here's the deal. I'll stay till Arjun keeps winning. But if Arjun loses, then I leave. Yeah, because then we don't want to continue the same, then we don't want to continue on the same trajectory, the same moment. We're not going to go till 3 a.m. If Arjun wins the next game, it's over. Either way, it's over with the next game. If Arjun wins, it's over in 3 games. If Arjun doesn't, then I'll watch the fourth game in with a very, very calm atmosphere. Yeah, it's not an Among Us stream. Is classical preparation totally different from these online games? Yeah, I think the skill set required in classical, there's quite a lot of difference between the skill set you require in the speeches compared to the classical format. There is a bit of an overlap, but there are also specific skill sets for classical chess which are not as useful for speeches, and vice versa. There are certain things which are very good for speeches, but not as useful in classical. Uh, so it's kind of mutual. Both require certain specific skill sets. I can't imagine doing a prop night stream anytime this year. This year is going to be a lot of chess. It's going to be all about chess, chess, and I look back, I wonder how I had so much time to play Prop Night last year and Valorant the previous year. But this year has become quite serious for chess because this is the year of qualification for candidates 2023. And last year we were still kind of, I think, getting back into the chess mode. But this year I think we are more fully done. Should we bring back the music chat? Kind of feels like a stream without music. Yeah? Stay awake till 3 a.m. every day this year as well. Why don't I listen to you on Shika? Why don't I ever listen to you? Because I guess it's more fun listening. If I go off stream, I'm certainly I'll be on. I'll be there in the chat on Discord. Bishop G4 was the move I was expecting Rana to play. It's a good move because the queen is attacked. The queen has to go to d3. That's the only available square for the queen. And if the queen goes to d3, white just takes on d5 and e4. Takes these two pawns. So looks like Ronak is going to go into the lead and defeat you. Yeah, you want me to end the stream right now? Yeah, Guti, people get tired of the same old talk. The Magnus Sarana score is 2-0 in favor of Magnus. So we have three 2-0s. Hikaru 2-0 against Lukesh, Arjun 2-0 against Alireza, and Magnus 2-0 against Saran. And we have 1-1 in Mamedo against Westbase. These are the games these are matchups which are going as we await the fourth game of the match between Arjun and Alireza. We are having a look at the other Indian games. Ronak has a score of 1-1 and he is likely to be up by 2-1 in his four-game match against Yagi. And in the match between Prag and Amin Tabatavai, this looks like an Armageddon, which is going wrong for I mean, it started going wrong around here, queen to d3. This was the position. He played rook to e8. And white is just going with the knight to f5. Black is under massive trouble here. Massive, massive trouble. Oh, rook f6 is also nice. This is also killing. So Prag all set to close out and win this match in Division 3. Alireza Arjun hasn't yet begun. The fish match has also. Yu Yagi has still not made his move. He still hasn't. Something has gone seriously wrong in his game. Looks like he missed Bishop G4 altogether. Oh, 95. Rug is just killing it. Guys, it's still the same old days. Nothing has changed. Nothing at all has changed. Oh, I have no idea what you guys are. Will Arjun finish it off in 3 games? This is the first time I'm using this feature. I have no idea how it works. Do I need? There are just so many new things on YouTube Studio. You see, I have no idea how to use so many. There is the create highlight. There is a stream marker. Yeah, great to see Arjun back in form. That is true. It's just great to see him playing better. Actually, he's just playing better today. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like Alir is a blender or something. Arjun has simply been playing at a higher level so far, and that has been pleasing to see. The kind of Arjun that I'm seeing turn up to peak of the devil. Here we have the third game. What? What? Oh my god. Gurki, you didn't have to point. You just spoiled the whole question. I can't get it out of my mind. We were back with a good old English opening in Arjun's game and the London system in Lukesh's match. So, English and London. The opening is not quite quite the solid variation that Arjun would have perhaps desired. And these situations are amongst the trickiest situations, because you kind of it's a bit tricky. You kind of just want to play for a draw and get it over with instantly, but such an approach can also be quite dangerous because when you get too desperate about something, you lose you lose that balance and things start going. You start making bad moves. You start playing inferior. Arjun has had a few experiences being in this situation, and he has learned not to, you know, he's learned that in these situations, what is the optimal mindset for him. But it's every challenge is a new challenge all the time. Are we already scanned? B5 protecting the C4 pawn. The problem for white is if there is D3, then there is knight B4. But white can play this. White can play this rook B3, bishop G7, bishop B2, and here we have some problems to solve. I think Arjun should have slowed down a bit more. Uh, Once again, the C4, I'm not so sure. Bishop G7 on the board. As my birthday is so far away, it's just so far away. I don't even remember when uh, it's mutual from the birthday. The birthday also doesn't remember me. Don't do it. It's there in Delhi. See, now Arjun's thinking he should probably have done it a bit earlier because now he's in some trouble and he's going to be under pressure. This C4 pawn is in distress. The C4 pawn is a weakness. So he's in uh, he's in some real trouble. I think I shouldn't have changed the title. Maybe that was a mistake I did. I shouldn't have changed the title. I regret it. Should we go back to the old title, chat? Let's go back to the old title, yeah. Arjun versus Alireza Airthings Masters. Got a bit too copy there. And changed it. There are no plans on the 14th. It's not my birthday on the 14th. They have mistaken it with someone else. Yes, it's not me. It isn't. Yeah, I love Arjun too. He's my favorite player as well. You're close, but it's on 30th. Should be. Yeah, this was Arjun's best continuation, but the problem is now the spawn is a weakness. So this is the problem. But still, I don't know how big of a problem it is. It is a problem, but yeah, I really don't know how big of a problem. But it would have been still better to have like a smooth equal position. feel Arjun is always an extra pressure when he needs to must go. It's not just Arjun, it's the case with everyone. And it's the case with everyone. It's always a tricky situation when you just need a draw because suddenly there is something to lose. Like when in the first game you have nothing to lose, so you just play in your normal game. Let's have a look at how Hikaru is doing in a similar situation, and let's keep a tab open of Magnus as well. So Hikaru has had no trouble at all whatsoever. So far, Hikaru has neutralized Mukesh's London completely. How did Ronak lose this game? He was so completely winning. What happened? Oh, queen into e4 was a blunder because of bishop e3 check. This has got to hurt. It's going to be very difficult for him to come back from such a blow. It just went. Oh man, he just got checkmated. This was cruel. Meanwhile, Prague just crushed his opponent, and he wins the Armageddon without. Was this an Armageddon? Yeah, it is an Armageddon. I think. Yeah, he wins the Armageddon with no problems at all. Crushing win. Prague back to his element, doing what Prague does. Mukesh, yeah, I don't expect a lot of great things from Mukesh from this matchup. But the good thing is, even if he loses today, he goes to the losers bracket and he still has a chance to win. Oh, it's not an Armageddon. No, Division 3, I'm not sure. Division 3, I'm not sure if there's 4 games or 2 games. Division 3 is different. It's somehow kind of like the third division of this event. Meanwhile, Magnus is just crushing his opponent here. He's just totally winning. He's just cruising here. I must say, I love the way he plays chess, the way he plays his pieces. Does Nihal have a game in the Bundesliga today? I uh, I think today is the last day of the Bundesliga weekend. If I'm not wrong. Today is the last day, and there is Nihal in action. There is all the same people in action. A3 played by Alireza after a long think, just taking this knight away, getting rid of any potential counterplay on the b5. And maybe not, probably not. No, today, yesterday was the last game where Nihal defeated Sedlak. A3 and Arjun goes for the counter attack, which was what I expected. Bishop f5, a nice move. If this knight moves away, there is an c2 check, and if there's a takes b4, then there's bishop e4. Knight h4, what happens? Queen d4. This is the deadly move. And now here it's actually black who's better. So a3, bishop f5. This is some good news for us. I don't know why Alireza is taking so much time after bishop f5 because he spent a significant amount of time on a3. And he should have seen what is coming after a3. But if he's spending so much time after bishop f5 as well, it seems like he didn't really see what was coming. Just seems so. Yeah, good news for the Indian women. Yeah? Harika is beating Ustiniak, and Ampi also had a good position, but it looks like it has been wrong. But Harika's position is just. Oh, he goes for knight h4. Let's go, Arjun. Queen d4. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go. Queen d4. That would be so sweet. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Queen d4. Queen d4. Queen d4. Surely, surely Arjun will see this. It's an obvious one. Knight is attacked, bishop is attacked, and queen d4 is begging to be played. Once queen d4 is played, maybe it's not. Yeah, no, I think that's kind of begging to be played. Come on. He's going to think, he's going to take his time, but I think he will play. He does, it will be such a resounding performance. Come on. Come on. Chad, will he play queen d4? Will he? Won't he? Will he? Yes, he's gone for it. He's gone for it, and now, oh, Alireza is in deep, deep trouble here. I didn't see this coming, chat. When I thought Arjun has very good chances, but this is like, you know, different, different level of performance. And if Arjun wins this, he's going to set up a clash against Magnus Carlsen. So exciting. So exciting. Why do we why do we still continue on with classical chess? It's just so exciting. That was so serious, That was like being in school, being in my country. This is like streaming on your own channel. Yeah, I mean, regardless of how whether we win or not, the way Arjun has been playing here, it just feels so good, and it's just such a big improvement. He's at a different level altogether. He's playing good chess. He's just playing excellent chess. You can just feel it, the quality of his chess. Arjun always plays well in CCT. Yes, he always plays well, but I don't remember him beating Alireza like. Uh, he always plays well, but this is like a superhuman effort. Like, Alireza's close to 2800. He's world number 4 right now, and he's considered to be one of the best talents in the history of chess. You know, all time, not just in the present moment, but all time. Now, granted, the Alireza that turned up today was nowhere close to how Alireza usually plays, but that is not our problem. Uh, our opponents human beings are not always at their best. It's always a bit here and there. And the way we play also has an influence on how our opponent plays. The stronger we play, the more pressure they are under, and the more difficult it gets for them. The same way, when we play weaker, it becomes so much easier for them. And in these kind of situations with 2-0, also Arjun has in the past displayed not the same level of control that he's displaying now. Granted, Alireza played a really bad move, 9H4, but it was started by Arjun's play. He created these counter chances. He was not afraid to play C4 here. He was not tentative and he didn't play something like Queen B6 or Queen E5. He just pushed the pawn, he backed himself, he hollowed B3, and ever since Alireza played this move, he's been in trouble. So, chat, this is what happens even for Alireza when you play B3. This is what happens. But we are not complaining. We are not complaining at all. And we're actually pretty thrilled. Who's B3s up? Gukesh is trying to create some complexity and he's also playing faster this game, but the position is not all that great. Carlson is having a competition with Arjun on who qualifies to the semis first. I don't know what Prag and Yangi. Sorry, Prag and Ronald. What's happening there? And, Wesley and Roth is easily the most balanced matchup, and only non-one-sided match in Division 1. Rook B1 played after a long thought. Arjun can take bishop takes e4. He does so. Queen d4, and now he has a choice. He can either take on d4 or he can insert knight c2 check and then take on d4. The point is, after bishop takes e4, it looks like both the a8 rook and the c2 knight is hanging, but black has this intermezzo, knight takes a3, rook a1, and now he can just ignore the rook and keep bossing his pawns forward. And this is a really bad position for Alireza because of these two advanced pawns and the pieces being out of play. So this is what has happened in the game as well. It has been played up to this point. Knight takes a3. Now, I do expect rook a1 from Alireza. And here, I do expect b4 from Arjun. It's amazing how quickly things worked after we changed the title. I think we should have a similar title for tomorrow as well. Tomorrow is a title Tuesday, right? Do you think it's going to happen? Chat? Do you think we're going to have the title Tuesday happen tomorrow? And Arjun is just playing so fast and confident as well. Bishop takes 8, knight takes b3, instantly taken out. Perfect play by Arjun. This is such perfect play, such confident play, and now we need to finish it off. There's still some work left. One simple way is a5, a4, a3. We can just advance the pawns. So that's one simple way. It's still possible to mess up the game from here, chat. Like for instance, if I was black here, things can certainly go bad. Next round of Airthings is also tomorrow. What do you mean by also tomorrow? It is only tomorrow, right? It is only tomorrow. E5 makes sense. He's trying to prevent this knight from coming into the game. Now maybe just rook d8 is also an option. Knight f3, we can always go f6. If the knight tries to get back into the game. Yeah, Harika is also doing awesome. All in all, it's been a very good day for e4 also makes sense. But the thing is, yeah, f3. Do we go f5 now to support this? He's just trying to eliminate all counterplay, I guess. But I'm not sure if this is a direction because now this knight can still get into the game. Okay, we can prevent it with rook d8. But still, a few nervous moments here actually. I actually didn't feel this e5 e4 was necessary from Arjun. Yeah, f5 will lead to an isolated pawn, but we also don't want to allow this knight back into the game. Yeah, the reason why e5 e4 was played was to restrict this knight. Okay, turns out we do. But then why play e5 e4? Why not just start with a? Why allow some knight e5 here? It just feels unnecessary. To me, it looks like first Arjun wanted to just finish his opponent off without any counterplay, but then he realized that this knight is going to get back one way or another, and I'm not sure who's been the first seed, but I think it was Magnus. Just feels like Magnus. Probably rating to break the tie. I preferred playing f6 when this rook couldn't get to f1, but yeah, f6 now also looks nice. So, I would rather not explain it to Cookie. Cookie can find it out himself. Oh wait, sorry, Cookie. So I thought I read it as Cookie. Uh, Bookie, can you please explain what will happen to Bookie if he loses to? I'm sorry, a double elimination is also confusing for me. Which is why, before the game I asked Arjun if he understands the format, and he said he does because he played the Bullet Championship, which was also double elimination. I also have no idea how it works, except that Bukesh can still win the tournament even if he loses today. Knight H4, just King G7, just defend it. Calm, cool head. Actually, you don't even need to defend because Rook F6 is not even a threat. There is Knight C1 check incoming. So we can also ignore it and play A4, which would be a cool move. And Knight H4 already feels a bit desperate as if Alireza is giving up this one game. Rook A6 is not necessary, I think. Okay, he wants to come Knight F4, Knight D5. Once again, Arjun trying to finish off without allowing a shred of counterplay. This rook can still prevent this knight from coming to D5. If Bukesh loses today, then he plays in Division 2. Are we sure? No, I think there's just a losers bracket. And I don't know exactly how the losers bracket works. Yeah, G5 looks interesting. It makes sense. I don't see why not. We can play like this as well. But he just goes rook d6. Clean way of doing any such thing. c3. D takes c3. He wants knight b5, and now if rook a5, knight c3 check, king f2. Oh yeah, just take the knight. Good. Why do I not see these things like knight takes a5? Because so yeah, d takes c3 taken, knight b5 played. King f2, he just takes on c3, and now he starts pushing the pawns. c2, knight takes c3 check. Now a4. a4, knight e2. Can we even take this? But this doesn't feel good. We need to keep the knights on and keep pushing the pawn. This is the way to win. This is the way to win this game. We are standalone, understanding the rules stream by chess.com. Good idea, actually. I think they should put it out as a video. Maybe stream is better so they can answer questions live. So complicated. And Anshika is reading everything except you know what. Rook D2 also I like. Just very clean way of finishing it. Now knight e4 check and a3. Or yeah, knight e4 check. And then just push the pawn. The rook has no way to get on a one file. Don't they take input from players? I don't think so because players, if they had taken input from the players, I don't think they'd have arrived at the best conclusion anyway. The players were like status quo, things were good for the players, but I would give the format some time before judging it because a big advantage of having this is that I think Arjun's calculating a3, but it doesn't work because of this move rook c2. I just hope he doesn't go into this because that would be so totally unnecessary. Would just throw such a spanner. Arjun just play knight d4 check and a3. Okay, b3 also works here. I've seen so many hard tricks in chess, like the one that has happened to Gukesh last year in Olympiad. It happened to Nodebek this year in Vacancy. But yes, that is the moment. Arjun is through and Alireza has resigned. And b3 was not the last move. So don't even get that. Arjun didn't win with b3. That's not how we are going to write the history. Arjun won with a3. Arjun's last move was a3 and he has won 3-0. He's defeated Alireza 3-0 to set up a clash against Magnus Carlsen, who won with only a 2.5 score. He didn't win 3-0. This is the third game, Pranjal. Yeah, it's 3-0. Am I missing something? No, right? Arjun has won 3-0. It's a whitewash. What a comeback. Arjun really OP. Really. It's a brilliant comeback by Arjun. Meanwhile, we are in the final moments of Dukesh Hikaru, where Dukesh is trying to create some pressure on Hikaru, at least on the clock. If only he could get his knight to f6 or h6. Doesn't seem plausible at all. So I don't really know which way Dukesh can set problems here, if at all Dukesh can. Meanwhile, in the other results, Fabiano has defeated Deepan Bush 2.5, and Liu Yangi has defeated Ron at 2.5, 1.5. So Division 2 not going well for the Indians, and Division 3 is going better, it looks like. Prag has advanced and now he's playing a match against Antico, and V Pranav is playing against Gadir Hussaino. These two matches are going on. So these are the matches. Meanwhile, Swidler has defeated Farham in the first game. So that's another super interesting match. Many interesting matches going on in Division 3. This has ended in a draw between Gutesh and Hikaru. So Hikaru also goes to the semis. I don't know why Magnus repeated here. I guess he was just lazy, because he could play for a win here. But he qualifies to the semis because he couldn't wait to set up his clash against Arjun. And I guess that's the stream tonight. There was a lot of fun, watching Arjun demolish Alireza like that. I didn't rule out Arjun winning today, but I just didn't expect this kind of a 3-0 win. But with this, we are setting up a match against Magnus tomorrow, and I guess I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much once again for sticking through, despite having so many other streams with the player face cams and everything. Thank you so much, chat, and love you all so much. See you all tomorrow, one way or another, either playing the title Tuesday or watching Arjun and Magnus fighting it out. Thank you so much. Bye bye.